In the deep ocean, some creatures grow far larger than they ever do near the surface, and scientists are still debating why. But among all of them, one stands apart. Not the longest, but the heaviest. A squid so massive, it may redefine what we mean by giant. Welcome to Poseidon's Depths, where ancient ocean legends meet modern scientific discovery. Today, we descend into the deep to uncover the true giant of the abyss, the colossal squid, a real animal so massive and so elusive that it challenges everything we thought we knew about the largest hunters in the ocean. For a long time, the title of the largest squid in the ocean belonged to Architeuthis ducks, a species that captured attention because of its extraordinary length, with feeding tentacles that can extend far beyond its body and give it a total size that seems almost unreal. But that idea of largest depends heavily on how size is measured, because much of the giant squid's length comes from those long, flexible tentacles, which add to its overall measurement without contributing much to its actual body mass. When you shift the focus away from length and instead look at the core body, the mantle, the muscle, the density, the picture begins to change, and what once seemed like the undisputed giant becomes something more slender than expected. This is where Mesonychoteuthis hamiltonii enters the comparison, because although it does not stretch as far, it is built in a completely different way, with a shorter but much thicker body, heavier tissues, and a level of mass that surpasses its longer relative. Instead of extending outward, the colossal squid builds inward, concentrating its size into a dense, powerful form that carries far more weight relative to its length, making it not just large, but physically substantial in a way that changes how we interpret scale in the deep ocean. And this forces a more important question, because if one squid is longer while the other is heavier, then what actually defines a giant? The one that reaches farther or the one that carries more mass? In most biological systems, the answer tends to favor mass, because weight reflects energy, strength, and overall presence within an ecosystem. And by that standard, the colossal squid is not just another large species, but a fundamentally different kind of giant. The difference between these two squid is not just a matter of size, but of fundamental design. Because while Architeuthis ducks is built with a long, streamlined body that suggests movement and reach, Mesonychoteuthis hamiltonii is constructed in a way that emphasizes compact strength, with a thicker mantle and a more heavily muscled form that prioritizes force over speed. This contrast becomes even clearer when you look at the tentacles, because instead of relying mainly on suction cups like most squid, the colossal squid is equipped with rotating hooks, sharp swiveling structures that can latch onto prey and maintain grip even under resistance, turning what would normally be a capture mechanism into something closer to a weapon. These hooks are not designed for delicate handling or quick grabs, but for control, suggesting that once the squid makes contact, it is capable of holding on with significant force, reducing the chances of escape and shifting the interaction in its favor. Even the beak reflects this same principle, because rather than being long and slicing, it is shorter and more robust, built to tear through tissue with strength rather than precision, reinforcing the idea that this animal is adapted for close-range dominance rather than extended pursuit. Taken together, these features reveal a clear pattern, where every part of the colossal squid's body points toward a single strategy: minimize unnecessary movement, maximize power when it matters, and rely on strength to resolve encounters quickly in an environment where opportunities are rare and hesitation can be costly. One of the most striking features of Mesonychoteuthis hamiltonii is its eyes, which are among the largest ever evolved in the animal kingdom, reaching sizes that seem disproportionate even for an animal of its scale. And yet, their purpose is not to provide detailed vision, because in the deep ocean, there is almost no light to form clear images in the first place. Instead, these eyes are adapted to detect extremely faint changes in brightness, allowing the squid to perceive movement and contrast in near total darkness, where even the smallest disturbance in light can signal the presence of something significant nearby. In this environment, vision becomes less about seeing shapes clearly and more about sensing presence, because a large object moving through the water, such as a predator or a large prey item, creates subtle shifts in the surrounding darkness that these oversized eyes are uniquely equipped to detect. This means the colossal squid does not rely on sharp, detailed sight, but on sensitivity, using its vision as an early warning system that tells it when something has entered its immediate space, which is often all the information it needs in a habitat where encounters are rare but decisive. And in a place where reacting even a moment too late can determine survival, the ability to detect the faintest hint of movement in the dark becomes far more valuable than the ability to see clearly. The Mesonychoteuthis hamiltonii lives primarily in the deep waters surrounding Antarctica, an environment that is both extreme and uniquely suited to supporting its unusual biology because temperatures remain near freezing, light is almost entirely absent, and movement within the ecosystem happens at a much slower pace than in warmer regions of the ocean. One of the most important features of this environment is that cold water can hold a higher concentration of dissolved oxygen, while at the same time significantly slowing the metabolic rates of the animals that live within it, creating a balance where organisms have access to sufficient oxygen but require far less energy to sustain themselves. This combination allows the colossal squid to maintain a large body without the constant need for frequent feeding because its energy consumption is reduced and its biological processes operate at a slower, more efficient rate over time. Instead of living in a fast-moving system driven by constant activity, the colossal squid exists in a habitat where patience becomes a viable survival strategy, allowing it to conserve energy, grow gradually, and rely on infrequent but decisive interactions rather than continuous hunting. In this way, the Antarctic deep does not just support the colossal squid, it shapes it, creating the exact conditions under which such a massive, slow-growing, and power-focused organism can exist at all. Even in the deep ocean, where distances are vast and encounters are infrequent, predation still plays a defining role, and when interactions do occur, they are often sudden, intense, and resolved quickly, leaving little room for prolonged chases or repeated attempts. For the Mesonychoteuthis hamiltonii, size becomes a critical advantage in these moments because a larger, heavier body provides both strength and resistance, increasing the chances of surviving an encounter that might overwhelm a smaller organism. Its rotating hooks further reinforce this advantage, allowing it to grip with force and maintain control once contact is made, suggesting that these interactions are not passive but highly physical, where the outcome depends on which animal can exert more power in a short period of time. Rather than relying on speed or endurance to chase prey across long distances, the colossal squid appears adapted for decisive engagement, where it waits, conserves energy, and then responds with strength when an opportunity presents itself. In an environment where encounters are rare but consequential, this strategy reduces unnecessary risk while maximizing the impact of each interaction, making size and power far more valuable than constant movement. And in the cold, silent depths where encounters are rare and outcomes are decided in seconds, it may not be the longest creature that dominates, but the one that cannot be easily overpowered. Because in the deep ocean, size is not just about how far an animal can stretch, it is about how much force it can bring to bear when it matters most. Subscribe to Poseidon's Depths and explore Earth's last frontier. Hit the bell to never miss a dive. What secrets will Poseidon's domain reveal next? Join us and find out.